A national survey has found a very high rate of psychological distress and diagnosed mental health conditions among methamphetamine users. More than 24,000 people responded to the voluntary survey conducted by the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare last year. The institute also found a shift from speed to ice among illicit drug users, as well as links to mental health. Former hospitality worker Dave Oliver from Cowra in Western New South Wales once used ice daily. After an 18-month addiction, the 36-year-old voluntarily entered rehabilitation in Sydney, and a year on, he's eager to share his experiences. Dave Oliver, thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Thanks for having me on.
Firstly, do you mind explaining to us a little bit about your background? Because some in our audience might be surprised to learn that ice addiction really can happen to anyone.
Absolutely. Born and bred in Central West New South Wales, and where I then went to school in Sydney, to a private school at the age of 13, and came from a very good background. Unfortunately, I suppose my journey started with substance use and abuse there. I fell into the heavy binge drinking culture of Australian sport. And then, unfortunately, in my early 30s, having also used recreational drugs on the Sydney scene, I fell into an ice habit at the age of about 32, 33.
And so did you find that that was something that just seemed to happen at that particular time, or was there a trigger that you can indeed put your finger on looking back now?
Look, it was an exposure to the drug, but my backstory unfortunately involves some significant mental health challenges. I battled with my coming to terms with my sexuality for quite a long time, only telling my family that I was gay at the age of 32, and I've also am the survivor of sexual abuse from someone outside of my family at a very young age. So those sorts of things certainly contributed to the type of person that would make such a terrible mistake at such a late age.
And so, Dave, this must have really surprised your family and friends. Can you tell us, while you were in the grip of this addiction, were you still trying to function normally? For instance, hold down a job, socialise with your friends?
Look, absolutely. Unfortunately, with the drug ice, it's seen as much as I hate to say it, because I do love the industry, it is very hospitality friendly, and that was certainly the environment in which it was introduced to me, and it was the slowly but surely the crescendo of a really bad, abusive and addictive cycle with the drug that saw me in the middle of an intervention and then into an acute care facility.
Was rehabilitation difficult?
Look, it was certainly something I felt I needed. I needed to just pull the handbrake up on life and deal with a few, as you heard, significant personal issues that led to that. But once I got into the facility and the ball got rolling, I found it an incredibly empowering experience.
And so, Dave, if there is someone watching today who is in the position that you once found yourself in, or indeed knows someone else who is, what advice would you give to them?
Look, I think I certainly was ready to take those steps myself, and I think it's something that you have to have a bit of conviction in yourself. No one's going to do this for you. There are some fantastic resources out there that you can utilise, but you've got to be ready to take those positive steps yourself, and I certainly was ready to do that. But certainly get out there and avail yourself of one of the amazing resources that are there ready for you to use.
Dave Oliver, we really appreciate you coming on and being so candid about your own experiences today.
Thanks very much for having me.